Hey everyone, Couch Investor back to another video for today. So let's talk about Nvidia. More specifically, I want to start with Nvidia back in 2011. Yes, we're going back, way back, because this just shows you what a perfectly well executed plan looks like. So if we look at the letter to stockholders back in 2011, this is a young Jensen 1. We can see here a couple of things. They talk here about a new computing revolution. So after a 30-year run with the PC at the center of innovation, the computer industry is being rocked by dramatic changes. Again, this is in 2011. In this new world, PCs will remain the main platform for creative expression, but the devices most central to our lives will be superphones and tablets. They will be our most personal computers. Just as the PC revolution once transformed the computer industry, the mobile computing revolution will have equally far-reaching impact. Consider, these handheld computers are created by phone companies, not traditional OEMs. We buy them from carriers, not just retailers. We use them to enjoy books, games, music, and apps downloaded from a digital store, not shrink-wrapped software. Continues by saying here, in the future you'll be able to hold up your phone to a Chinese menu and see it instantly translated into a chosen language. You may be able to use it to take your pulse, gauge your blood pressure, and perhaps even measure blood sugar levels. Again, this was in 2011. You'll be able to use your tablet's video camera to view your living room. Magically, a computer-generated 3D image of the coffee table you are thinking about buying will appear in that room. You will be able to wander and, by looking through the tablet, view the table from varying angles. We believe the most energy-efficient architecture for this challenge is a GPU. It works in parallel, breaking down a large challenge into small tasks that can be handled simultaneously by hundreds of tiny processors. Again, this was over 10 years ago. It took time until they reached the moment they've reached a year or so ago. I mean, back in 2018, this was the first time that the GeForce RTX was unveiled, the world's first real-time ray tracing GPUs. Now, this is the standard. We cannot expect anything less than this. And this is what Jensen said. This is a historic moment. Computer graphics have been reinvented. And this was also the start of something new. But it all goes back to that same letter back in 2011. Of course, before that, in 2008, 2006, they already came out with great products with regards to AI, with regards to gaming as well. But in that letter, you could see the clear vision that was going to happen and take time, but at least they had that vision. Execution was key, of course. With the development of new technologies, this was bound to take more time than what we are expecting today. Today with AI, with all the advancements, today things are going much, much faster. Now, talking about things that are going into the right direction, we actually have some good news with regards to chip sales. So apparently, according to the Semiconductor Industry Association, they said that global chip sales rose in November for the first time in more than a year. Chip sales for November 2023 rose 5.3% year over year to $48 billion, according to data compiled by Semiconductor Industry Association. That figure was also up 2.9% month over month. Global semiconductor sales increased on a year-to-year basis in November for the first time since August 2022, an indication that the global chip market is continuing to gain strength as we enter the new year. Looking ahead, the global semiconductor market is projected to experience double-digit growth in 2024. Great news for the likes of Nvidia, AMD, and Intel. Now, before continuing with the good news, if you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, we really appreciate that. If you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment to get a top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. Thank you very much. Now, more recently, we have a big announcement here, reported by Reuters. So India's data center firm Yota has ordered $1 billion worth of Nvidia AI chips. So they say here, India data center operator Yota's plans to purchase more AI chips from its partner Nvidia will be worth $500 million, taking its total order book with the US firm to $1 billion as that firm beefs up AI cloud services. Sunil Gupta, the CEO and co-founder of Yota, told Reuters on Thursday that the order would comprise nearly 16,000 of Nvidia's AI chips H100 and GH200 and will be placed by March 2025. So for those that think that missing out on China will be a big hit for the company, well, rest assured that India, fast-growing economy, huge country, great opportunities there, they will provide plenty of upside for companies like Nvidia. Now, when talking about Nvidia, of course, we're talking about making an investment here, and I'll say the same thing I said back in August. Back in August, if you go watch that video, some of you laughed and said, oh, look now, the stock has gone up 5-10% or so. Again, I said, and I'll repeat myself again and again. Great company. If you hold that company, I see no reason why you should be selling that company. The business itself is not giving you any indication of a struggle. Now, back then, when you looked at the upside of the company, it was pretty limited, let's say, in the short term. Pretty limited. The stock didn't do much from August until the start of this year. Now, start of this year, the stock is up another 10% or so. But, as we've seen in previous live streams, the stock itself is not that expensive, trading at a forward PE of 28.3 times, EV to EBITDA 21.7 times, price to sales 15.6 times, that's the one that is expensive when you look at these metrics, price to free cash flow 77.6 times. We've compared it to AMD. AMD, much more expensive. Of course, this is based on analyst expectations. And if we look at the average analyst price target for the next 12 months, it sits 20% higher than the price we're at today. It sits at $660. Now, why are analysts so bullish? Well, these are the expectations for the coming fiscal years. Despite this being a $1.3 trillion company, I mean, you can see here, sales year over year in fiscal year 2025, the change there, 54% growth. EPS, 62.3% growth year over year. Fiscal year 2026, another close to 20% growth top and bottom line. So this company is still experiencing lots of tailwinds. If you needed a small reminder of what has happened in the last couple of quarters, this is basically it. Revenue continues to go up, non-GAAP gross margin follows suit. Q3 fiscal year 2023, $5.9 billion in revenue, 56.1% non-GAAP gross margin. Q3 fiscal year 2024, $18.12 billion in revenue and 75% non-GAAP gross margin. Now, what's the next step? Well, the next step has been for a while accelerated computing, a full stack approach, silicon, system, and software. Not just a super fast chip. Accelerated computing is a full stack combination of chips with specialized processors, algorithms in acceleration libraries, domain experts to refactor applications to speed up compute intensive part of an application. This is why you're seeing Nvidia as some kind of hardware company with software-like margins. And then, of course, the most important computing platform of our generation, generative AI. The era of generative AI has arrived, unlocking new opportunities for AI across many different applications. Generative AI is trained on large amounts of data to find patterns and relationships, learning the representation of almost anything with structure. It can then be prompted to generate text, images, video, code, and even protein. This is going to be applied in various industries. For the very first time, computers can augment the human ability to generate information and create. There are over 1,600 generative AI companies that are building on Nvidia currently. And the last thing I want to show you here is the $1 trillion long-term available market opportunity. We've talked about that quite a while ago. So you've got here $100 billion in gaming, $300 billion data center systems, $150 billion NVIDIA AI Enterprise DGX Cloud, $300 billion in autonomous machines, and $150 billion Omniverse Enterprise. Now, with regards to autonomous vehicles, more recently they announced a wave of EV makers that will choose NVIDIA Drive for automated driving, more specifically, Li Auto Select Drive Thor for the next-gen EVs, and Xiaomi develop AI-driven cars powered by NVIDIA Drive Orin, which is the previous generation. Now, before I go and look at the graph, it is very important to note that it is very much possible that NVIDIA is reaching peak market dominance. Because if you look at the other huge players, in cloud data centers, they are all making moves already for a while, designing their own chips, using their own data sets, using their own databases, using their own tech, because, well, I don't think all of these companies enjoy paying a huge premium to buy NVIDIA's products. Of course, it's the best in the market. Of course, right now they don't really have that much choice. But as we move forward, there will be more choice. Now, of course, that would mean that the market is growing. And so, logically, NVIDIA's share of that market might come down. That doesn't mean that the dollar amount will come down. It just means that they might be near their peak dominance. Just keep that in mind. Now, looking at the stock right now, we can see that, since August, the stock has not done that much. But since the start of 2023, it has suddenly broken out of that base right here. Now, currently on the weekly, we are pretty close to being overbought. If you want to have better opportunities, the 50-day moving average sits at $485 and the 200-day moving average sits closer to $412. If we look at the daily right now shows you that we are overbought. And currently on Thursday, there is that red candle, but as you can see, the market tried to push it lower. There are still quite some buyers today. So overall, to conclude, just wanted to show you that NVIDIA's success was not built overnight or even in the last year or two. No, this is a story that has been developing for the last decade and more. Now, what will happen a decade from now? I don't know. Probably a lot of acceleration in growth, acceleration in innovation, thanks to all the work that has been done in the last 10 years. NVIDIA will definitely benefit from that. So that will be it for this video. Of course, do share your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.